getting his visa. But what could have gone so horribly wrong that he was serving alongside U.S. troops and then now going after U.S. troops? Let's very quick go to Reggie in Texas, line 4. Reg, your thoughts.
Hey, Ms. Rita. I agree with your comments about how troubling this all is and how we all have to condone it, or condemn, I should say. The problem is it's only one side. And why I say that is the Charlie Kirk thing was just a glowing example of it. And even in Biden, his comment on it, released a statement today, says he and the former First Lady are violence of any kind is unacceptable. He's putting conditions on it. And this isn't the end. Wait till the ICE officers get kicked off.
Well, and by the way, let's pray that these two officers pull through. But you're right. Just saying we condemn it. Why aren't they condemning it when Pritzker calls them Gestapo? Following the 9/11 attack, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months at Ground Zero searching for victims, including his firefighter brother, Thomas Foley, who was killed in the attack. Daniel's death was a direct result of 9/11-related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Terry, and their 5 children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
This holiday season, some children will wake up to quiet homes and nothing under the tree. Since 1947, the Marines and volunteers for Toys for Tots have delivered more than 700 million toys, bringing joy, dignity, and hope to children in need across America. Your gift of a new, unwrapped toy or a donation online reminds every child they are seen, valued, and loved. Because every child deserves a little Christmas. Visit toysfortots.org.
Yeah, you see this? This is,
Every family caregiver could use a little help finding the necessary resources to care for their
this is $100,000 stack.
caregivers to learn more.
$100,000 stack. There you go.
AARP has tools, tips, and a resource guide.
That's $100,000 stack.
Access key programs, services, and agencies in their community. Visit AARP.org/NY caregivers to learn more. That's AARP.org/NY caregivers.
After 60 years
Oh, yeah.
and over 50 years serving Long Island,
Let's go, jealous boys.
is retiring.
The jealous envy is in you. Oh, yeah.
20% off store-wide, or buy one garment at the original price and get 2 more of equal or lesser value for free. Yes, free. This once-in-a-lifetime sale is very saying thank you for your loyalty and support through the decades. John Papa Spurs at 4838 Sunrise Highway in Sayville, New York. 631-589-4848. Don't miss it.
It's the Rev and the Rabbi every Sunday morning at 7. This is Rabbi Joe Spatasnik. This is Reverend A.R. Bernard. Join us every Sunday for the Rev and the Rabbi. Don't miss this dynamic duo, the Rev and the Rabbi, every Sunday morning at 7. If you missed the show,
Got the golden delicious yellow apples.
at WABCRadio.com. Join us
Oh,
for
yeah.
Rev and the Rabbi every Sunday morning at 7. Right here on 77 WABC. Here's a hard fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer
That's right. Look at it.
from spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem,
Look at $100,000 and envy it.
if left
Oh, yeah.
can lead to swollen or discolored legs.
You jealous boys?
Stand or walk. Neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Center offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information. Free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health.
Now we're going to open these cookies.
Today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans. Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today. The business world is evolving, but saving wherever possible remains smart business. That's why PSE&G designed many different programs to help you save on energy costs. Our experts will help find the energy solutions for the right fit for you, your business.
Here we go.
Because saving energy impacts so much more than your bottom line. Connect with a PSE&G Energy Efficiency Advisor to learn more at pseg.com/business savings. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Protecting America with Rita Cosby.
Peter Schweizer, what concerns you the most about Dora Mondani?
One is obviously this season, I think, reflect what is often called the Red-Green Alliance. This is a strange melding of political forces. The right part of the coalition are progressives, the left-wing members of the Democratic Socialists of America, the left wing of the political spectrum. And the second part of that coalition is the Green Coalition, which is representative of Muslim or Islamic political activists inside the United States. It's odd because there are certain issues where these two factions would totally disagree. LGBT,
We got the
feminism, abortion. This is a
got the bags open.
very concerning political movement. Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now.
Look at this. Look at this $100,000 stack. Oh yeah. See that?
Rita Cosby is on. The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment coming from Brookings, Oregon, where the sheriff's office search
Let's pull some of these cookies out here.
River after police received a report of a man yelling for help off a Forest Service road. Well, it turned out that a search and rescue member descended down a steep embankment and successfully located a 45-year-old man who was about 100 feet down that embankment. Wow. And the man was found in the water and has sustained a broken leg. He was very disoriented, was verbally unresponsive and stunned, obviously, given the situation. Luckily, the search and rescue team, the ropes team, was able to rescue him and also his dog,
Oh, yeah.
also frightened from the ordeal. Thankfully, both taken to a hospital, and the man with their injuries, including also not just the broken leg, but also hypothermia. But
I'm doing good.
be alive.
I got my $100,000 stack here.
From a distance and calling the police. Bravo to our great men and women in
See those bundles? Those are $10,000 bundles each
of the two national
for a total of $100,000.
life tonight. And of course, the new details, as we just mentioned, this individual was an Afghan national who was accused of opening fire.
I'm all about money.
Two National Guard troops who just
I'm all about money.
It looks like he was fighting alongside U.S. troops, helping U.S. Special Forces in Kandahar in Afghanistan, and then evacuated under Joe Biden's visa program. It was called essentially Operation Allied Welcome, and it was in the aftermath of that chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Tens of thousands were suddenly rushed to the United States, and we always talked about the fact that they weren't really vetted. They just were suddenly brought here, and they're coming from a place of major terror activity like
What
Afghanistan.
services do you provide
Obviously, somehow this guy
that you're asking for 100? What services do you provide in return?
According to multiple reports, he is not cooperating with authorities. He was shot multiple times in the hospital, but is not cooperating. And how dare he come to this country at the pleasure of America and then suddenly fire on our U.S. troops?
How can you ask for money and you provide no services?
Shot, the other returned fire and seriously injured him. And here is D.C. Mayor.
Usually when people ask for money, they provide a service.
This attack.
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target being a guardsman, that individual has been taken into custody.
And as I mentioned, not cooperating, according to multiple reports. Well, joining us now to talk about how this investigation goes and the outrage of these individuals like this one who comes to America and opens fire now on two heroic National Guards troops. Joining us is the great Sergeant Betsy Brantner Smith. She is a spokesperson with the National Police Association, also a Chicago area police officer, a retired one. Sergeant Betsy Brantner Smith, thank you so much for joining us on this big breaking news Your reaction, first of all, I'm angry tonight to find out this was somebody who came to this
8:38
country.
p.m.
We're hearing some reports that he may have overstayed his visa, but came in after that disastrous.
We're at what is it? 10:38. We're at 10:38.
Let's not forget, Rita, and thanks so much for
So you, what are you, like at Arizona or something, or out there
testified
in the Midwest?
2021 before the legislature, and at first he said, "Oh yes, we vetted every one of these Afghanis coming into the United States." And when pushed on it, and when reminded that he was under oath, he changed his claim and said, "Well, we don't really have any idea. We didn't really vet them." Oh, well, hey, do me a favor, Betsy. I want to play this clip. Can you hang with us? Because we actually have him testifying, at least part of his testimony. This is exactly what Betsy's talking about. Alejandro Mayorkas, then Homeland Security Secretary, the guy responsible to let all those people in under Joe Biden.
Oh, look at that. We got the
2023.
we got Brazil and we got Arizona.
Mr. Secretary has been admitted to the United States since the fall of
We're from New York City.
Congressman, I would be pleased to provide you with that data. I don't have it. There were 70,192.
Hey, Brazil, how much can $100,000 buy in your favelas? How much could I buy for $100,000 in American dollars in the favelas in Brazil?
Congressman, you're referring to what we termed Operation Allies Welcome, a program that we are very proud of and instituted to provide refuge for individuals, many of whom. Will you be reviewing those that came in on parole? Will you be reviewing them on a case-by-case basis? We review them on a case-by-case basis, and when those parole periods are subject to renewal, we will do so. The commander down at Fort McCoy in my state, when I interviewed him 2 years ago, he said they were not interviewed on a case-by-case basis. In fact, in the terror hotbed of the world, Afghanistan, which should have a special immigrant visa.
So what do you do in Arizona there?
Previous administration used that to make sure to fully.
What is your name? IH?
One of those people that came in from
LH or IH?
were sent through the special immigrant visa process. They were simply given parole. You know how much damage was done to Fort McCoy during that period when those 12,000 plus Afghans came in? Congressman, the individuals who were benefited from Operation Allies Welcome were indeed screened and vetted by government.
Haley? Oh, you're a woman?
Categorical parole, Mr. Chairman. There was
Are you a woman?
$5.6 million of damage that was done to Fort McCoy. Did you realize that? Congressman, we're virtually destroyed. Want to move on?
That's amazing. You know, hey, Betsy, that was part of it. And you just heard
Cool.
the supervisor there.
Well, nice of you to tune into the channel here.
They're questioning Mayorkas. They weren't interviewed. And those are the ones who had the first-hand experience.
I just did a paranormal video, which was actually,
Came in at the height.
it started out with me eating ice cream.
Came from probably one of the biggest hotbeds of terror in the world. And Joe Biden, I'm not surprised.
Video number 78, live video number 78 in my library. Live video 78. It's 2 hours long. And if you want to see a paranormal a ghost of a shadow person, you could read the description, and it tells you exactly the timestamp of where to start running the video. And you could see it there on the right side of the screen if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
As we've all been talking about, a criminal illegal alien. He walks up to a National Guard. He's armed with a firearm. The National Guardman is only armed.
Yeah, I don't need people's money, so I don't ask for people's money. I don't beg. I don't do that. I don't beg. I don't need your money. People can keep their money. They can watch my channel for free. They can keep their money
We are frustrated and we are disgusted.
and enjoy their lives.
About, you know, as we continue to talk about every week, the rhetoric that we have heard about ICE, about the National Guard, about law enforcement in general, and we don't know.
I got plenty of money.
Man thought these guardsmen were ICE agents, what they were doing, but you've got everybody from Alyssa Slotkin, who went on national news on Sunday to say that the National Guard...
So what do you do out there in Arizona? What do you do?
By the way,
Like for fun? What do you do?
Let's play it for everybody because you are always spot on, my friend. Here is Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, and as you just heard Betsy describing, suddenly saying that they're going to succumb to pressure and open fire on people. Listen to this one.
Look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago. It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something...
Yeah, I'm going to be getting my my food catered, so I'm going to be getting catering service.
And then I want to play this also, Betsy. This is Ken Delanian.
I'm not going to spend hours and hours and hours in the kitchen cooking.
President Trump, this is sort of the theme we're hearing from...
I'll just get my service catered.
That Trump put these people in harm's way because they're on the streets to begin with.
Get some nice yummy turkey.
But listen to this thing.
Get some potato salad, macaroni salad, some of that cranberry sauce. Get some corns, get some vegetables, carrots, peas.
You don't know people walking around with uniforms in an American city. There are some Americans that might object to that.
Yeah, cooking takes a lot of work, man. You could spend like 8 hours cooking easily. Easily, you could spend 8 hours cooking that meal, preparing everything. Apple pie, cherry pie.
Almost justifying that people would be inflamed by shooting these troops there. It's shocking, Betsy. It really is. And this is, in fact, you can go over to Blue Sky, which is the...
All right. Good night.
Twitter, and you can see that there are people on Blue Sky celebrating this, and they're saying, if you enforce fascism, you might get shot. Rita, this is the same rhetoric that we heard against law enforcement officers in 2020 and 2021, basically telling people that if you are pulled over by an American law enforcement officer, that there's a very good chance that they are going to kill you. In fact, Joe Biden himself said it, ramping up to the prior election. So what were people doing? They were attacking law enforcement officers. People were panicking because people were told, hey, that's...
Happy Thanksgiving.
This is the exact same rhetoric, except now it is directed at ICE, it's directed at the National Guard, it's directed really at anyone in a uniform who is trying to protect the people of this country.
Where's the Brazilian guy? Is the Brazilian guy in a favela still there?
And you need to reach out, my voters that are listening, to your elected officials and demand that the rhetoric stop today. We've got to stop it. We've got to bring down the temperature. It's not the right that is ramping all this up. It's the left, just like after the murder of Charlie Kirk. When you have people like Jasmine Crockett who are talking about targeting black people, talking about slave patrols. You've got Brandon Johnson in Chicago and the governor, J.B. Pritzker, telling people that ICE and the National Guard are disappearing people off of the streets. This is the result. So Betsy Brantner-Smith with the National Police Association walk us through.
All right, where are those straight cookies? We got to get some of those straight ones.
Stand up and say we will not accept this. What happens now from an investigative standpoint, Betsy? We're hearing that the guy is not cooperating. He is in critical condition at the hospital, but apparently not cooperating with law enforcement. How did they piece it together? They said they looked at sort of tracking and so forth and determined that he physically acted alone for the shooting. But now they're going to go through his last known addresses. I think he lived on the West Coast. There were some reports where he worked, his online presence. And what will they do now to kind of piece together what happened to him and maybe with somebody working with him elsewhere that just wasn't physically on the scene? Well, they're gonna piece together every person that he associated with. They're
find out where he has lived, who he has been associating with, where does he go to worship services if he does, who he has been talking to. Of course, they're going to look at his social media. Yes, did he act alone today? We're told he was. And in fact, when you see those pictures of him online, you can see that he was stripped naked because they wanted to see if he had.
I guess the Brazilian favela left.
They're going to find it. Just because he acted alone today doesn't mean that he acted alone in general. We're going to also take that firearm that he used. Supposedly it was a revolver. We haven't confirmed that yet. But we're going to see, where did he get that firearm? Remember, Washington, D.C. is one of the most gun-controlled cities in the nation. This is going to be a huge multi-agency investigation, and because of the proximity to the White House, to Blair House, the Secret Service, of course, is involved, and you have the military investigative arm involved, as well as multiple federal agencies and the D.C. Metro Police Department. So there's a lot to uncover. And I think, we're gonna find out how he was radicalized, what his mental state was, and all of that, because this is such a frightening situation. And if he does live, obviously, he is going to be charged with multiple counts of terrorism-related charges, which is the death penalty eligible in D.C. certainly is as a federal count. And you heard from President Trump tonight, this penalty. And we must find out, first of all, if there's somebody else who cooperated, like you said, got him the gun, radicalized, was working in cahoots with him. He seemed to also, if we're hearing that he had some of this military training, that's also troubling too as well. There's still so many unanswered questions. Betsy, thank you so much for joining us on such big breaking news, and also, sadly, the night before Thanksgiving. But we have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for our troops and for our men and women in blue, and you're one of the best among us, Betsy. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita, and thanks for your Back the Blue segment. Always, thanks for your support.
Always, my friend. Thank you very, very much, and have a good and safe Thanksgiving, Betsy. Thank you. And everybody, we're going to take your calls when we come back. 1-800-848-9222. What do you think needs to be answered in this case? You just heard from one of the best law enforcement folks out there, some of the layers. But this is so troubling. And are we now on the brink of maybe a civil war? I mean, just this country is so divided. And some of these people are so reckless with their rhetoric. I'm really worried. I'm worried there'll be copycats. I'm worried about a lot of things. And tonight, we have a lot of concerns. We've got to protect our law enforcement. We've got to protect our National Guard, where civil society breaks down.
The Rita Cosby Show. What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacustm.com. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference this holiday by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Our billboards and ads feature our 800 hotline for help, which connects people to pro-life centers nationwide that can assist with free medical help, baby supplies, and more. Won't you join us in this season of giving? Please make a gift today. Visit ProLifeAcrossAmerica.org. That's ProLifeAcrossAmerica.org.
Did you know you can help regrow cartilage in your joints, ligaments, connective tissue, and joints weaken with age, all because our natural production of a particular protein declines, leaving you vulnerable to injuries. Scientifically proven, this overlooked nutrient can help rebuild connective tissue, strengthen joints, and support mobility. Not having enough of this protein was once considered to be an irreversible step in the progression of joint pain. Until now, just go to getnativepath.com/BOW and get up to 45% off today. GETNATIVEPATH.com/BOW. If you want real American beef, Born, raised, and processed in the USA? Then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no fillers, just farm fresh beef from upstate New York. Shipped nationwide. Stock your freezer with an entire cow or a half of a cow. Or grab just a box of premium steaks and burgers. Right now, new customers get $25 off with promo code MAGA. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Use code MAGA for $5 off. That's promo code MAGA. Freedom Farms. America's beef delivered.
If I had my time again.
Here at 77 WABC, we don't just talk politics. We talk what's right for New York.
Gotta get myself right.
Right on the issues.
Gotta get myself right.
From breaking news to bold opinions.
Gotta get myself right.
As long as the Democrats say it's right,
Gotta get myself right.
9 times out of 10, it's nonsense.
Gotta get myself right. Gotta get.
Can you access quality health insurance? Yes, New York. Can you get health enrollment from a real person? Yes, New York. Can you find plans that are right for you and your family? Yes, New York. It's time to enroll for 2026 health insurance. Say yes to quality health coverage from New York State of Health. Enroll or renew today. Visit nystateofhealth.ny.gov or call 1-855-355-5777.
Yellow apple's absolutely delicious.
No more stressing over your old vehicle. Donate it today and get it picked up tomorrow. It's the easiest service out there. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. This is John Katzenberg. When growing all of our companies, I never had
Apples and cookies.
I just use common sense. We have been certified by Nielsen to be the #1 talk station in the country. Advertising? If you advertise with WABC, you will be a winner too. And why don't you email me at cats@wabcradio.com and we will create your own ad for you and make your company a winner too. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk Radio 77 WABC. This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And in the next hour, we'll continue talking about the new details coming in fast and furious about this guy who opened fire on 2 National Guardsmen. It also comes as ICE is under attack. So I don't believe there's sadly any coincidence here, and it is so troubling. I want to play, this is cut 22. And earlier today, we talked with Congressman Andy Biggs from the great state of Arizona. And we talked with him right when the news was breaking. And right away, he said, this is troubling, and he blames Democratic rhetoric. Here it is.
Yeah, first of all, our hearts and prayers going out with those National Guardsmen and their families. And in fact, prayers going out for all of our federal police agencies and military men and women who right now have basically a target on their back put there by anti-police liberal and left-wingers. We support the police. We support the mission here for our National Guard troop. And this is just a tragedy. And I think Mayor Bowser got it right when she said this was a targeted shooting. I believe it was. It seems to be targeted. We'll find out more, of course, but that's what she indicated in her press conference.
Yeah, 100%. It clearly looks like it is targeted. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Paul in New Jersey on line 1. Go ahead, Paul.
Good evening, Rita. I wanted to comment on how how I feel like what I've seen, where the blood actually lies and whose hands it lies on, and it is Joe Biden. I think a lot of this stems from, and it was mainly caused by wanting to give up the Bagram Air Base to the Chinese. And when he withdrew all these people, from Afghanistan, there was another shooting in April this year. The guy's name was Jamal Wally in West Virginia. Well, actually, Fairfax, Virginia, rather. And same thing happened with him. He was pulled over speeding, and he opened fire on police officers. And he also stated that he, served with special forces and things like that. So I think a lot of this is going to happen, and with this China thing, China, with Biden's son having a job there, getting paid for nothing.
And Paul, you hit a great point because you're right. I think there were obviously certainly some stuff with Hunter and the Chinese, as we know. And let's not forget, too, Joe Biden wanted to, look like he was pulling out of Afghanistan before the anniversary of 9/11. They clearly didn't vet these people, and now there may be many among us.
The 77 WABC Staten Island law firm of Angelia and Gentili John time is 10:59.
The Staten Island law firm of Angelia and Gentili, helping people just like you for 40 years. Walk with confidence. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News starts now.
Mostly cloudy skies on this Wednesday, November 26th. Good evening, I'm Lisa Ritchie. 2 National Guard members have been shot in Washington, D.C. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey originally said they had both died, but is now retracting that statement. The shooting happened just blocks from the White House, and the suspect is in custody. Vice President Vance is asking for prayers.
I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those 2 National Guardsmen, but I think it's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America.
They are now in critical condition. In a post on Truth Social, President Trump called the suspect an animal who will pay a very steep price. The president was in West Palm Beach at the time of the shooting. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff will be in Moscow next week to negotiate a Ukraine-Russia peace plan.
This war could go on for years, and Russia's got a lot more people, a lot more soldiers. So I think if Ukraine can make a deal, it's a good thing.
A 28-point peace plan has been fine-tuned, and that Ukraine has agreed to the conditions of the revised Trump-backed peace plan. There's plenty of hot air on the Upper West Side as the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade balloons are getting inflated. Lisa G was there.
The crews here on the Upper West Side are busy inflating the 34 balloons for this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. You're like a kid in a candy store watching this magical event come to life. And Mike, who's the pilot for the Mario balloon this year, says he wouldn't have it any other way.
This is something I never get tired of. It's 3 miles backwards, and that's the best experience you'll ever have.
And what about with the wind?
Yeah, we don't mention 4 letter words.
And what is the theme for today?
The theme for today is we're going up, up, up. This is our moment, and Macy's is going to be golden.
Mike also says it's a family event, with many team members returning each year, some for the past 30 years. On the Upper West Side, Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
All 70 NYCHA workers that were arrested in a February 2024 corruption crackdown have now been convicted of bribery, fraud, and extortion. Federal prosecutors say collectively the employees accepted $2.1 million in bribes to steer contracts to repair companies in order to bypass NYCHA's bidding process. The city is rolling out an app that's asking New Yorkers to report noise. Peace and quiet is not so common in New York City, but longtime residents don't seem to mind.
Noise is part of New York. I don't think people do anything about that.
The city's Department of Environmental Protection has launched the NYC Noise app, allowing people to record the sounds they're hearing, loud sirens or construction, and submit it to the app. America's favorite side is stuffing, which some people call dressing. That's according to Campbell's annual State of the Sides report. Stuffing claims the top spot in 42 states, but not here in New York.
Macaroni and cheese. Mac and cheese.
I love me a good baked mac and cheese. With the ooey gooey and then the crunchy cast iron pan, fresh out, just
ashtray, homey, nostalgic feeling. New York and Florida are the only two states that prefer mac and cheese. You can head to New Jersey, where they prefer yams or sweet potatoes. Some of your favorite stores in Manhattan are closing up shop after this holiday season. Joe Connolly reports.
One Tandem will close 2 large Manhattan stores, the downtown H&M on Church Street and the one on East 86. The Saks Off-Fit store on East 57th Street will be replaced by a Chelsea Piers Fitness. The
Oh, yeah.
also reports the future of
Look at this beautiful yellow apple.
is uncertain. It's empty again.
Golden delicious apple.
Businesses have moved to new office development near Grand Central Terminal. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
Apple and cookies, the best combination.
WABC Radio Foundation to feed those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. Join 77 WABC AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League for Speedies and Agostino Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across the city, giving back to those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. 77 WABC Cares. In sports, the Olympic flame has been lit. The official lighting ceremony for the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Games took place on Wednesday in Olympia, Greece, the birthplace of the Games. IOC President Kirsty Coventry said the event reminds us what the Olympic Games stand for, bringing people together in peaceful competition, friendship, and respect. The Games begin on February 6th. Your forecast. Tonight, 3 showers early on and then cloudy, breezy, and colder. The low down to 40 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast is mostly sunny, but it'll be windy for those Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloons. And it'll be cooler, so up with a high of 45. Friday's outlook is partly sunny, windy with a high of 43. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies outside our Midtown studios. Stocks closed higher Wednesday for the 4th straight session. The Dow gained 314 points to 47,427. The S&P added 46. The Nasdaq climbed 189. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors. Here at 77 WABC, we understand you just can't get enough. Entertaining and informative. You just can't get enough. And honestly, why would you want to? Spicy, fearless, and fair. Teams and winning journalists from the White House war zone, telling all sides of the story. This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, President Trump is saying that everybody who came into the United States through this, quote, parole program, and it's about 70,000 plus Afghans that were brought here. They were supposed to be here for 2 years, and it was after Joe Biden's dismal withdrawal from Afghanistan. Joe Biden, his White House said, okay, we're going to grant them a 2-year parole. And now one of them, who came to the United States to flee terrorism, has been accused of opening fire on 2 National Guard troops in D.C. And just a little bit ago, here is the executive assistant police chief there in D.C. talking about how this all went down.
At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest, when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS response to the team to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital.
And those two officers, I just looked at some images of fellow National Guard members. These two were from West Virginia, but fellow Guards members praying inside the hospital there in DC. It's very emotional. I'm a bit emotional after seeing this scene of these officers just holding hands, praying that these two National Guards troops survive, because they are both in very critical condition. They were both ambushed, point blank range. This guy opened fire, shooting at least one of them in the head. And then, unfortunately, luckily, another National Guard member was nearby and was able to take the guy down. Then, as you heard, and there are images all over social media, you could see the guy was stripped naked. And as you heard from Betsy Brantner Smith, they were trying to make sure that there were no explosives on the guy. That he wasn't, planning to detonate himself when authorities came by. You have to worry about a lot of this stuff, especially now that we're hearing that he had some military background. And then also, how did he come here? Apparently he's from the West Coast. So what was he doing in D.C.? Was it specifically to go after the National Guard because of all the horrible vitriol that we've heard from many Democratic politicians? I am furious tonight, and I think all of us should be. Here is Congressman Buddy Carter from Georgia. He's a Republican, and he says that many Democrats tonight have blood on their hands after the shooting.
Well, we should react because, let's face it, the left-wing politicians, I should say, they have blood on their hands. I mean, when Lisa Stockton makes a statement like this and then later follows it by saying that she encourages the military not to listen to their commander-in-chief, when John Ossoff calls troops being in Washington, D.C. an embarrassment, when Abigail Spanberger says, let rage fuel you, those comments have an effect, and that's why the left-wing politicians have blood on their hands. It results in the kind of things that we're seeing right here tonight. Every opportunity I have when I'm in Washington, D.C., when I see a National Guardsman, I thank them for being there. They have made Washington a place where I'm proud to be anymore. It is so nice to be able to walk around and not be in fear and not be harassed. And I appreciate them being there. I appreciate our president recognizing the fact that it needed to be addressed, and we did need more help in Washington, D.C., and we need it in other cities as well.
And earlier today, right when the shooting broke out, I had with me on the air on Cats and Cosby, with me and John Catsimatidis, we talked to Congressman Randy Fine from the state of Florida. And this was his assessment of what a dangerous period this country is now in.
Well, I'm enraged. I'm angry. I'm trying to understand what happened, but I think we've fallen so far in this country where someone could think it was a good idea to bring a gun near the White House and shoot National Guardsmen. I mean, our country has fallen so far that we're going to have deep structural problems that we're going to have to deal with here. And we'll wait to see who it is. I have my suspicions based on the pictures I've seen, but no matter who did it, we've got real problems we've got to address, particularly because the Democrats have basically declared open season on people who do this for a living. And I think that's something we all have to be very upset about.
And here's a little more from Congressman Randy Fine.
I understand Democrats have become the enemy of the state. You had 6 of them call for an insurrection against our government. They attack ICE, who again, ICE is simply trying to round up people who are not supposed to be in this country. They should have gone home on their own. If they haven't, they should be rounded up and deported. So these are people who hate the United States, hate the rule of law, and then these sorts of things happen. And we're going to have to say as a country, are we willing to put up with it? I know as for me, I am not, and we are going to put it down.
And we have to put it down. It can't get much worse. It may. And sadly, we've got a lot of progressive leaders in this country. We're about to have Zohran Mamdani in New York, and then Katie Wilson in Seattle. And there are other progressives who say, no, we're not going to have the NYPD cooperate with ICE. They're criticizing, for example, Dora Mondani, criticizing Netanyahu, Jewish establishment. He was blaming the synagogue the other day that had protesters outside that were protesting and shouting and telling the citizens inside the synagogue that they should be afraid. And he was mad. He said the synagogue shouldn't have been gathering. What they're talking about is basically improper, supporting Israel. That's scary stuff. We're on a very, very difficult path, you guys. And here is this is Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. You have to hear what she said about the National Guard not that long ago. And you wonder, when you hear this kind of vitriol, no wonder, sadly, people react.
Maxine Dexter, Oregon Third, checking in after what I would say is an indefensible ruling by the Ninth Circuit that opens the door to National Guard troops being deployed in our peaceful city. Let's just be clear. Portland is not lawless. We have been extraordinary in our resistance to Donald Trump's fairy tale about our city. We have remained peaceful, persistent, and clear that we do not bend the knee to Donald Trump and his wannabe kingdomship. And we will continue to be so. This ruling must be challenged, and we must remain steadfast in our peaceful resistance to Donald Trump, the tyranny he is trying to take onto our cities and across this country, and what I would say is an extraordinarily dangerous precedent by militarizing our city and moving towards a dictatorship. We will be united. We will remain peaceful. I was just in D.C. trying to work out how we were going to get out of this government shutdown, and I'm heading back to Portland now so I can be with you tomorrow. Continue, stay loud, stay peaceful.
Well, they're a threat to democracy. They're tyrannical. They're dangerous. And you wonder why someone who might be a little askew doesn't take the bait. And not to be outdone, here's J.B. Pritzker. Listen to what he said about the deployment of the National Guard and his twisted theory. This was just a few days ago. This is, of course, the governor of Illinois.
Other than fighting crime. That's the first thing they should understand. The second is it's an attack on the American people by the President of the United States. Now, he may disagree with a state that didn't vote for him, but should he be sending troops in? No.
You said he has other aims. What are the other aims?
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or, frankly, take control of those elections.
He would like to take control of the elections, and the National Guard coming in is part of this master anti-American plan, if you will. And then you have a crazy person like this deranged gunman who came to America during Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal. And boy, we knew that that was going to happen, that there would be some bad folks who would get in because they didn't have a chance to vet him. They came in so quickly, there's just no physical way you could vet him. And Joe Biden didn't want to vet him. Doesn't seem like he vetted anybody. Just ask Alejandro Mayorkas. And tonight, our former president, Mr. Otto Penn, here's what he put out just a little bit ago, which I think is actually pretty disgraceful. Because tonight, I'm quite angry at Joe Biden's open border policies. The way he pulled out of Afghanistan was a complete disaster. No vetting, throwing all these people on. I remember talking to all of you when it was going down, and I said, there's no way they're going to check these people. And there are so many bad folks in Afghanistan. I have been there. I have seen them. I am telling you, this is a hotbed of terrorism around the globe. And Joe Biden just threw them on a plane and said, here, you can stay in America for 2 years. And that was 2021. Guess what? The guy was still here. How many more are still here? And here's Joe Biden tonight. Joe Biden and I are heartbroken that 2 members of the National Guard were shot outside the White House. Violence of any kind is unacceptable, and we must all stand united against it. We're praying for the service members and their families. That's from Joe Biden. How come he's not speaking out when his fellow Democrats have been calling President Trump the National Guard and ICE, Nazis, Gestapo? He's not doing it, because guess what? He was doing it himself. He was the one who was saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. He was the one who was saying ICE shouldn't be coming in and rounding up these people. Let's have the murderers and killers and the terrorists just stay in America. How is that for national security, Joe Biden? Let's go to Joaquin on line 3. Go ahead, Joaquin. I am furious tonight.
Good evening, Rita. Before I go on my tirade, and maybe you have to put a disclaimer in, I want to wish you kind of happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot to be thankful for, and it starts with our men and women in uniform.
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, my niece is a sergeant major in the Army National Guard, you know, so...
Oh, beautiful.
Anyway, you know something, and you did make me laugh when you said my parents would beat me silly.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, I meant it. My dad would have been like, little Rita, come on over here. Don't you? I mean, there would be no gray. That was it. Because guess what? I grew up in a home where we loved America and appreciated people in uniform and respected them.
All right, well, now here goes my tirade. I'm sorry to say, but when it comes to Muslims, they're not radicalized. Islam is a radical religion in and of itself. And the good Muslims, that there are some, they are far and few in between, and they're actually radicals in that religion. And we are being taken over. And you can see whenever you go on social media, basically Australia, the United Kingdom, and France, you know, all of Europe except for a few countries like Poland that accept the Muslims out of their country, they don't have these problems, okay? And so until we face the facts about this, we're going to have a problem. I'm also getting really tired. I don't care if we're divided anymore, because the people I'm divided against, they don't care about America. They don't want to be Americans anymore, you know? And I believe that we have a great country here, and we're going to have to preserve it. And unfortunately, it's going to have to get downright dirty, because these people have to be deported. And, you know, when you talk about that they're working on special forces, or even the ones that work with our military, you know, in their own countries, they have their own tribes, their own sects and everything like that they're at war with, you know, and it may benefit them, but at the end of the day, they still have the same ideal. So these people are not radicalized. This is exactly what they are. And, you know, and then when it comes down to the high road, well, you know something, when Obama came into office, and this goes back to Obama, he cleared everybody out that was not part of his agenda, and he installed people into every single facet of the government that was on his page. And for some reason, we don't do that on our side. I wish that I could run for president, but I'm just a poor, average, everyday, ordinary guy, because believe me, I would get in there and I would clean house, and I'm sorry, I would be laying down the law.
By the way, Joaquin, I wish you could. You never know. I'm telling you, you never know. Never say never, because you often have so many great ideas. And you obviously love this country and appreciate this country and care about this country. And, you know, you brought up about Muslims. I have friends who are Muslims. I consider them peaceful Muslims. They're not Islamists. And I know you and I have gone back and forth on this. To me, there's a big difference between someone who, you know, supports Islam, preaches Islam, and someone who's an Islamist, like a fanatic. And sadly, we're seeing a lot of these fanatics of late. And that's the trouble, too. The trouble is, you know, you look at this moment where it seems like a lot of politicians will not rein these people in, or other fanatics of whatever religion. They are not reining them in. And clearly there are a lot of individuals, and you're right, there are a lot of Islamists that are in this country that wish to do us harm. And that's the scary thing. It makes me wonder after today how many more are in here that we just don't know, sort of sleeper cells, if you will. That is a really troubling thought. Joaquin, thank you very much. And most importantly, like you said, happy Thanksgiving. 1-800-848-9222. We'll continue after the break.
You're listening to The Rita Cosby Show. This holiday season, some children will wake up to quiet homes and nothing under the tree. Since 1947, the Marines and volunteers for Toys for Tots have delivered more than 700 million toys, bringing joy, dignity, and hope to children in need across America. Your gift of a new, unwrapped toy or a donation online reminds every child they are seen, valued, and loved. Because every child deserves a little Christmas. Visit toysfortots.org to give today. What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com. At Shriners Children's, every day brings hope and healing to patients facing complex medical conditions. From groundbreaking research to compassionate care, they help children regardless of the family's ability to pay or insurance status. That's kids like Fippen, so he can be more independent. Here's Fippen, talking about a few things he loves about Shriners Children's.
Shriners has just helped me a lot, and I'm thankful for them. So many wheelchairs, so much great food in the cafeteria. I love the food in the cafeteria. It's because of all the donations that people give Shriners to help other kids in need. It's just amazing. When I come here, I feel like I belong.
Together, we can all make a difference by calling 1-800-276-8007 or going online to loveshriners.org to give. Again, go to loveshriners.org now to give.
Now, the latest from the 77 WABC newsroom.
At Rocco's, Rockaway Beach, Vin and Vin, with that Bruce Blakeman dinner, they brought out this gnocchi. It was so good. You like gnocchi, no?
If it's good, yeah. Well, because a lot of times, if you don't go to the right place, it's bad.
Really? Yeah. I've never really had bad gnocchi. Never.
Sid Rosenberg, host of Sid and Friends in the Morning here on 77 WABC. Never saw a gnocchi he didn't like. And that dinner with Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman over a big bowl of pasta sparked an idea over Sid's head.
I want to have another personal conversation with Bruce, and I want our neighborhood, which is still New York, it's Queens, to be part of Nassau County.
Sid feels his beloved Bell Harbor is area code 516 all.
How do we take Bell Harbor and our nice neighborhoods in Rockaway and make that a part of Nassau County so that we're not run by Mamdani and Queens. We're right there, right at the border.
Sid has had enough of Queens and wants traffic on the LIE instead.
Let's make us part of Nassau County. I'm being serious. That should be easy. And then we get Blakeman until he becomes governor instead of Mamdani.
Not so fast, according to news director Noam Layden.
The only problem is Staten Island has tried to do that a bunch of times.
Nobody cares about Staten Island. I'm sorry, Johnny Tobacco, listening, Mike Morano, Mario
Staten Island has not been successful, and they've tried many times to secede from New York City.
This is Queens. Come on, stop it. You can't compare Staten Island, 12 people, to Queens. I love Staten Island. They're great, don't get me wrong. This is Queens.
Morning show engineer Lou Rufino is a neighbor of Sid, and he's all for the idea, too.
And we're more like Nassau County anyway. Yes, and we're head to head when it comes to American flags on the corner. Sure. I'm making this happen, bro. I'm making it happen. That's it.
So, Nassau County, look out for a very tan man with a popular radio show heading to your neighborhood soon. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
I host the best show in America, and I work with the three best guys. Well, Nolan's here for, but Justin, Lou, and Nolan. A lot to be thankful for.
Sid Rosenberg, host of Sid and Friends in the Morning, reflecting on the meaning of Thanksgiving. His executive producer, Justin Ellis, is thankful too.
I'm thankful for my family, my friends, and my health.
Newsman Noam Layden.
And obviously the family.
Right. You got great kids. Yeah. You got a son named Gabriel.
I do.
Can't be bad. Yeah.
Morning show engineer Lou Rufino said we should all salute Travis Mills, a retired U.S. Army soldier who became a quadruple amputee while serving in Afghanistan.
I think everybody needs to look at somebody like Travis. He's probably, but maybe the only one. Look at his outlook on life. That makes you thankful for everything you have. That's great. That's great.
A big salute to Travis and to all our U.S. military members. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
happy music. It is on the verge of Thanksgiving, just minutes away. Sadly, what a difficult day it has been in America. And some more breaking news just coming in that the U.S. government has suspended all Afghanistan immigration applications, courtesy of what just happened with this gunman. So what are your thoughts about that? President Trump saying we will not allow this. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn, line 5. Go ahead, Norm, your thoughts.
Hi, Rudy. Yes, today I was, while returning from the funeral of a friend of mine who is a Vietnam veteran, and his name is Bill Soloni, a longtime friend of mine, and I was feeling pretty somber about that, but I was in a room of patriots. They had a naval color guard, and it was beautiful. Anyway, while returning from that, Sandra called me and let me know about the National Guardsmen who were shot in Washington.
It's so heartbreaking. And Norm, I just want to first say also, Bill Solani, I think you said was his name, welcome home, and thank you to all our Vietnam veterans, Norm.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hello, I'm Marianne Kuharski with Pro-Life Across America. Did you know that a billboard can save a baby's life? When our billboards and radio ads are running, we receive hundreds of calls from those seeking pregnancy information and support. Every caller is connected to a local center offering free ultrasound and confidential counseling. Won't you join us in this life-saving effort? Donate today and help us do more. No gift is too small. That's ProLifeAcrossAmerica.org.
If you want real American beef, born, raised, and processed in the USA, then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no fillers, just farm fresh beef from upstate New York, shipped nationwide. Stock your freezer with an entire cow or a half of a cow, or grab just a box of premium steaks and burgers. Right now, new customers get $25 off with promo code MAGA. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Use code MAGA for $25 off. That's promo code MAGA. Freedom Farms, America's beef delivered.
This is Rabbi Joseph Tasnik of the New York Board of Rabbis. And this is Reverend Leah Bernard from the Christian Cultural Center. Listen to The Rev and the Rabbi every Sunday morning at 7 on 77 WABC.
After 60 years in the fur business and over 50 years serving Long Island, John Pappas Furs is closing his doors as John Pappas is retiring. To celebrate his legacy, enjoy an incredible 50 to 90% off store-wide, or buy one garment at the original price and get 2 more of equal or lesser value for free. Yes, free. This once-in-a-lifetime sale is their way of saying thank you for your loyalty and support through the decades. John Pappas Furs at 4838 Sunrise Highway in Sayville, New York. 631-589-4848. Don't miss it.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information. Free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Positively Ernie, the podcast.
I want you to meet Joe London. You've done so many different things. You and I are both still active. You're doing a lot of things. Do you think the secret to feeling young, looking young, and enjoying life?
We just have some good genes.
Genes help a lot, but you have
your
to
way
be
of
active.
life is also very important. Staying active, eating healthy.
Yeah, but your mind is always working.
And I think continuing to work. Absolutely. You know, I write, will it really matter in 5 years?
Hey, what's up?
Letting go.
Hallie? Is it Holly or is it Hallie?
Will it really matter?
You know, I wish that idea could really start at a very early age for people to be able to think about it and say, look, what am I truly concerned about in my life? Why should I sit there and worry about some of these things that really don't matter?
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. This 77 WABC News.
You said your name is Halley.
Waters off the Coney Island Boardwalk early Monday.
So is that pronounced Hawley?
Officer Min was the first to notice the body near the rock.
It's pronounced Hawley?
Who was declared dead at a local hospital, looks to be in his 30s.
That's pretty young. You know, he hasn't even lived fully yet. I don't go in the water. Unless there's a lifeguard.
The examiner now working to determine the cause. Noah Clayton, WABC News.
Maybe it's my accent. I'm from New York City. New York City we have a northern accent here. Not quite like Boston, but it's a New York accent.
Is 1134. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Julian Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
Rita Cosby is on.
You want to see my face? What do you want to see my face for?
We're on the verge of Thanksgiving, even though it has been a very difficult day in America. We all have so much to be thankful for, and I love being with all of you as we are leading.
I remain anonymous.
And this holiday season.
Have you seen the first video on my channel?
Go to redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey and join Red Apple Audio Network, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging.
This is Hacker TV. This is Hacker TV. On Hacker TV, we remain anonymous.
That is redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey. And everybody, I hope you have a beautiful and safe Thanksgiving. We are talking, of course, about this terrible shooting that took place of the two National Guardsmen in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And a lot of people are pointing the finger at a lot of the rhetoric that we have seen. And the incendiary attack. The Department of Homeland Security is saying that there has been a 1,000% plus increase of violence against law enforcement year to year. I don't think it's any mistake. It's the rhetoric that's coming from the left. They do not seem to have any like wherewithal, and they know what they're doing. It's coming from leaders. These are not like just random people. These are people who are in political office and they know better. And here is Jasmine Crockett, who always seems to say horrible things about law enforcement. And here's what she said. Get this. This was just yesterday. And she referred to troops as slave patrols. Listen to this one.
I'll say it again. Donald Trump's mass deportation system makes me think of what a modern-day slave patrol would look like. Slave patrols were armed groups empowered by the government to control, intimidate, and terrorize people solely based on color. That's what's happening now. Donald Trump is sending mass agents without warrants into communities of color to terrorize the people who live there. And the reason that I want to make sure that I draw out this link, because we heard Maxine say that black and brown is coming together.
Slave patrols? Calling them slave patrols, Gestapo, all of this clearly, I believe, is playing a role, and they know it, and they haven't stopped. They started saying that, remember, about Elon Musk, and guess what happened? His Tesla dealerships were getting lit on fire and attacked. And here is James Comer, congressman, head of also the Oversight Committee, saying this rhetoric is clearly responsible.
The Democrats' rhetoric, that's what puts our National Guard troops who volunteer their time. I mean, they are part-time soldiers that believe in the cause. They work during the week. Usually their job requires weekends of being on the guard. They're there because they want to be there. They want to keep our capital city safe. So that type of rhetoric from the Democrats puts them in peril. But we do need more National Guard troops in Washington, D.C., Jason. You know, and Buddy Carter knows how dangerous Washington, D.C. is.
The favela boy went away. He's no longer with us.
And we've heard this from the mayor, and we've heard it from the police chief in Washington, D.C. They have a recruitment and retention problem in Washington, D.C. The Liberal Metro Council in Washington, D.C. has passed so many liberal criminal justice reform bills. They passed legislation to limit a police officer's ability to defend himself. They have had anti-police officer rhetoric, like we've seen from the Democrats on those clips that you showed. They wanted to defund the police. So the morale was so low in the Washington, D.C. Police force that many of the officers went to other cities to be police officers. They didn't want to be in Washington, D.C. So they have a problem getting the number of police officers that they need, and that's one reason I support what Trump's doing. We need police protection in Washington, D.C. The city was unable to hire enough people, so the president had to act, and I support his decision.
And tonight, after this horrible shooting that took place in D.C., Pete Hegseth, of course, the Secretary of War, came out and said, we're not backing down. We're sending 500 more National Guard troops to the nation's capital. You are not intimidating us. We will stand strong for law and order. Bravo. That is the right decision. Never cower. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Go to Pat in New Jersey on line 5. Go ahead, Pat.
Hi, Rita. Happy Thanksgiving. Rita, I hear the topic tonight and the appreciation, how people don't appreciate coming into this country. I used to be a frequent visitor to Washington, D.C. I loved it. And I remember a story I heard when I was inside the Capitol, and I just researched it because I couldn't remember the person's name. In appreciation for coming to this country and being allowed to come in, he was lying back for months painting I think it's called the Rotunda. He was a Greek Italian immigrant named Constantino Bellini.
Beautiful. And he painted the Capitol Rotunda?
You know when you go in?
Yes, I know exactly where it is. I used to work about a block away from there. I remember I was part of Fox News, and especially in the early days, and I was the senior correspondent for Fox in Washington, so spent a lot of time on the White House and Capitol Hill. I know exactly where that is. I didn't realize that. What a beautiful story.
His appreciation, that's what he did for his appreciation to be allowed to stay in this country.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's what we want in this country. That's a great example, Pat. Those who give back, those who appreciate. And you guys, I'm first generation American. My father's Polish, my mother's Danish. They came with $100 when they pulled into New York Harbor. But my dad kissed the ground when he came to America, and I think every day kissed the ground. And he was deeply grateful, as was my mother, to come to this incredible country called America. And they're great immigrants who make a difference, who want to do what my parents did, start from scratch and give back. And yet, when you hear this person who took advantage of the system, and what I'd like to know, has he been radicalized this whole time? He was apparently working with U.S. Special Forces over there in Afghanistan, so you have to wonder, was that all a decoy? Was he sort of working with the Taliban all along and was sort of a traitor living among us, and then came to America? And it just makes you wonder how many. That's why you can't have open borders. You can't have unvetted. You want to be a welcoming country, but you don't want to be a bunch of suckers either. It's too dangerous. Let's go to Robert in Philly. Line 2. Robert, your thoughts tonight.
Hi, Rita. As always, it's lovely to talk to you, and I would like a quick rant, but I just wanted a second afterwards to make my wishes to you and the audience. But
I agree with Joaquin, and it's not just this incident, as horrible as it is. My heart is out to their families, right? But look at the total cost, Rita. Just think of the hundreds of thousands of Americans that have been harmed by a range of crimes, going anything from DUI to rape to murder to robbing houses. I mean, it's unbelievable, the damage, and the Democrats don't care and act like we're the bad guys for